Welcome to the Anthem Tips and Tricks gameplay series. I'm Arekkz, and in this episode we're going to be taking a closer look at Traversal and the different ways in which you'll explore the vast world that awaits you. The world of Anthem is vast, varied, and mysterious. As you play throughout the game, embarking on your missions, completing your contracts, diving into some of the more challenging activities, or simply exploring to your heart's content in free play, every aspect of the game will see you traversing the various corners of the world. However, if you truly want to explore to your heart's content and soar high up into the sky or dive deep down underwater, then mastering the art of traversal will be key. Anthem is an incredibly vertical game. The world is designed in such a way so as to encourage you to fly up high into the sky, explore the cliffs that tower over the world below, dive into hidden caves full of mystery, fly through the trees and the foliage below, and even dive deep underwater in search of treasure. Everywhere you look, there's stuff to uncover. If you're someone who likes to explore, then the sky's the limit in Anthem. If you truly want to make the most of your traversal, then it's key to ensure that you know how to get the most out of your chosen javelin, and we'll speak more about that in just a moment, but before that you need to understand the principles of flight. No matter your javelin choice, when you launch into the air and engage your boosters, you will see a heat gauge show up at the bottom of the screen. As you fly, this builds up, and once it goes red and maxes out, you'll be sent hurtling towards the ground. However, there are a few tricks you can use to help better extend your flight time. For starters, flying upwards naturally takes more effort and thus will see your heat gauge fill much faster. Meanwhile, flying downwards, since you're effectively falling, will actually cool you off, allowing you to fly for longer. Additionally, there are plenty of waterfalls located around the world. Flying through these will cool off your engines, resetting your gauge, in turn, extending your flight time. The same also applies if you dive into a body of water. Admittedly, you're no longer flying at this point, but it can be a quick way to cool off before flying back out. Something else you can do, and this is a little bit more advanced, but you can actually skim the surface of water. Doing so won't cool you down, but what it will do is freeze the heat gauge. You'll see it go blue, and all while it's like this, or whilst you're flying above water, you won't heat up. So if you're ever exploring and you see lakes, pools, or even small puddles, skimming over them can give you that little extra flight time. And finally, if you're looking to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, keep an eye out for the fast travel tunnels. They're located around the world, they look a little bit like warp gates, and flying through them will be a much more efficient way to reach your chosen destination. When it comes to exploring the world with your chosen javelin, it's important to understand how to best take advantage of your available movement options. While all four javelins technically move at the same speed, the way in which they move and traverse the environment is unique. Some javelins are easier to maneuver than others, so understanding the nuances will allow you to better traverse the environment. The Ranger has access to a double jump, great for scaling walls, cliff faces, or other vertical platforms. You can hold down the jump button to increase the height of your first jump, and you can then commence flight mid-jump if you're looking to gain an aerial advantage. Whilst flying through the sky, you can press the dodge button to perform a barrel roll, which is incredibly important when fighting in the sky. Some enemies will lock onto you, so a well-timed dodge will allow you to gain an advantage. You can also use your dodge on the ground to advance on your enemy, dodge incoming attacks, or simply move in your chosen direction. The Colossus, the heavier of the four javelins, has a single jump, but can also initiate a small rocket boost shortly after to provide some additional momentum before flight. This boost can also be initiated on the ground when sprinting to provide some additional speed. Whilst flying, you don't have access to any sort of aerial acrobatics like the Ranger or the Interceptor, but what you do have access to is your shield. Pulling this out in the air allows you to fly towards danger, blocking some attacks that would otherwise send you or other javelins crashing down to the ground, in turn allowing you to use your flight as a means to very quickly close the gap on your opponents. The Interceptor, the most agile of the four javelins, has access to a triple jump, allowing for exceptional mobility throughout even the most complex of terrain. But it also has access to a triple dash. Holding the dash button or pressing it in quick succession will see you chain together 3 lightning fast dashes. This can be done both on the ground and in the air, and not only allows you to reposition, but also makes you incredibly difficult to hit whilst airborne. A single press of the dodge button in the air will also see you perform a barrel roll, much like the Ranger, meaning you have plenty of evasive options whilst airborne. And then finally, the Storm. This javelin is built with aerial combat in mind. While it only has one single jump off the ground, with your second jump input simply allowing you to hover for a brief moment, once fully airborne, the Storm can remain floating for much longer. In fact, the Storm is one of the most vulnerable of the four javelins, a glass cannon if you will, so good use of this class will require that you spend as much time in the air above the fight as possible. Whilst flying, you can press dodge to teleport a short distance to the left or to the right. This is a great evasive maneuver and allows you to avoid incoming damage at the last second. Mastering your flight with this Javelin will also provide you with the greatest possible vantage point when pulling off your devastatingly powerful elemental abilities. And that, freelancers, is everything you need to know about Traversal. Master your flight and your chosen Javelin's unique playstyle, and you'll be soaring through the skies indefinitely.